few times.
I have been quite.
So we're on the YouTubes now, so no swearing.
Yeah, right.
Fucking okay.
I never swear anyway. I'm
No,
purely
that's
angelic.
Sucky's the one. You got
I just
Right.
Making myself look beautiful.
And you're sharing and Sucky's editing.
Yeah.
Editing. I've been editing all week, man.
right.
You look-
Me and John will fuck it up then.
Yeah, no. Well, it's
I'm
the
not
editing.
gonna do anything.
I'm gonna let you be bad boys if you want to be bad boys. I'm a very liberal host.
Yes, so we've heard.
Hey, anything goes. Right, are we all ready, guys?
Yep.
Right, okay. Give me a second just to compose myself. Hello and welcome to Around the Console, where tonight we're going to be reviewing the 1972 Jon Pertwee classic, The Sea Devils. Now, obviously, as your host, Craig, I will not be reviewing this alone. I shall be joined by my good buddies and generally awesome people. That will be Suki, Cliff, and John. Hello, gentlemen.
Hello.
Hello.
Where's
Good to see you
Bob?
all again. Bob's just tossing it off.
Yeah, I thought so.
You just see, he
I
messaged me a few
assumed.
minutes ago. He couldn't be asked getting here. At least he didn't fall asleep, though.
No, that's true. At least you
Yeah,
didn't fall asleep
so-
and not bother turning up like an
Oh
amateur.
my God. You're never going to forget that,
Yeah.
are you?
No.
No,
we are not.
never. Why would we let you live that down, Suki?
Yeah. In fact, your picture on my phone is that with overwritten with "will often sleep in." So
You are
that-
really panicking. So, regardless of sleeping in, etc. No, Bobby's not with us tonight, unfortunately, but we do have a little review from him, if I'm not mistaken, Suki. He sent that through to you, didn't he?
No, I can't be bothered to put it in. But
Fair
anyway,
enough.
carry on.
He probably says crap anyway. So it's what did we think of this? Now, I must confess, and please don't take this the wrong way, Suki and Cliff. I am really, really, really giddy to know what John actually thought about this. Because obviously, listeners, we don't ever discuss this in between the episodes, but there was a slight banter exchange, a very brief one about noises and a particular scene on this, which made me giggle so much. Over to you guys. Well, I'm going to hold back because I'm just desperate to find out what you all think of this. Well, John's already scratching his head.
Well, I'll go first then. Right.
on, John.
So this, I can understand why people like it. And I think it's a lot to do with the fact that it is just inured in British Navy. It feels well settled. They had obviously the help of an entire Navy base somewhere. And the adventure itself is the masters all mustache twirling and the doctor's all doing his bit, but there was a lot in it to make it really nice. There was a lot of crap, and I'm really not really 100% au fait with the music, the incidental music in there, which
I agree.
did sound a little bit like somebody from the Radiophonics workshop who just had a day off and just pressed random buttons, and that's what we got. But apart from that, I thought, despite the shaky costumes and a little bit of stuff, I just, my feelings on this, I look past that.
Yeah.
What did you
to
think
the
the Sea
story
Devil's
beneath.
costume was shaky?
The Sea Devil's costume wasn't great.
I thought it was on par with Lord of the Rings.
The cartoon version from the 70s, was it?
That
maybe.
cartoon is mega.
It's mega, actually. It is really good. Yeah.
Well, the story rocketed along. It was very interesting, and I loved I felt a little bit daft when they started getting into multiple ways of transporting.
How many boats can you get in
I
one
know
6
exactly,
story?
but the shots of them actually getting on Navy ships and all that sort of stuff. I imagine at the time that was mega, so I can understand why people like this episode. This serial.
I think the production value on this one is astronomical. You can tell that the Brits wasn't at war at that time of the century. If it was 10 years later, he wouldn't have been in argy-pargies at that time.
Yeah.
But I really like it. I know that it gets the similarities with the Silurians, obviously, because it's the same writer as well. This is a better written story than that.
Yeah.
I like how it interweaves with unit, what's going on. I like how the different. Look at he's shaking his head.
I know.
Carry on, Cliff. I'm
You
not
got Dad's army there shaking his head.
Carry on, Cliff. I need to know what you want to say.
Like my dad when he's disappointed in what I'm doing.
But he's never disappointed, is it?
Yeah, always. The Joe's interaction could have been a bit more. There is some silly bits, and I'll come on to it later. Is it too long? Should it have been a 6-part? It could have been shorter. I think it probably could have been a 4 or 5.
I think a lot of those serials back then suffer from that.
Yeah.
They always had that 6 parts at the end of a series, didn't they? To kind of like pad it out a little bit.
Yeah, they filled a bit of padding in there.
Yeah.
But all in all, it's one of the better of Pertwee's, I think, at that time.
Okay.
Sucky,
you're in.
All right.
No.
First of all, before you start, I want to say fuck the Silurians.
Really?
But no, I don't know. I'm just saying that because Sucky looks like he likes them.
No, okay. The story, it's great. It's a good story, but it is overlong. It's too long, I should say. It's a lot. There is a lot of padding because I only noticed it this time, and it's just escape after escape after escape after escape after escape, and loads of action pieces in between all that just to pad it out. All it is the master is just getting the Sea Devils to be out, give them some help so they can conquer the world. And that was the basic storyline to this. Then you have to pad it out for 6 episodes, and it just got repetitive and repetitive. I did like it. There was a lot going on. Jon Pertwee was great. The master, Roger Delgado, was brilliant as well. And some of the incidental characters, the Brigadier replacement, Captain Hart, he was good as well. It's just, I just thought it just seemed to repeat itself. The Doctor escapes, then the Master escapes, and the Joe escapes, and then the Master escapes again, Joe escapes again, Doctor escapes again. And because I've written down my notes, and every page has got somebody escapes.
But in terms of like the whole story thing, if you imagine that it comes out week by week, that's not going to be an issue so much for somebody who's not binging it like we are.
Yeah, but that's the problem. Because we're reviewing it all in one go, and we have to watch it all 6 episodes in one go. You just think, okay, this has happened, and it's happened again, and it's happened again. So it's just sort of did get a bit on my wick this time round. If I'd have been just watching it weekly, as John says, it wouldn't have been a problem. Go on, Cliff.
I was going to say, when I was saying that, I thought this was a better story because it's the same writer who did the Silurians, isn't it? And there's obviously the connection. And they do have to tell you the connection in there in case anyone's not seen it, because they go through and it goes, is this related? I'm sure it is. Do you remember that thing in Derbyshire? And all this type of thing. And then it goes on, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But do you not find the stories a lot more fulfilling than the Silurian one?
No, because I do like the Silurian story.
Yeah, I find the Silurian. I find the Silurian quite repetitive and quite dull. I like it. Don't get me wrong. I do like it. But I find this. You're right. It is, John's right. It's a very similar story. And, you've got the connection. It is, now you've said it, I hadn't really seen it. There is escape after escape, but there's so many little things that are going on that kind of make each episode cute or different. Like just, the stuff when he's in the hypnotism in the, or the mind control, really, isn't it? When he's in the prison, all that type of stuff. It just makes it quirky. The different locations, like the base, the boat, the submarine, the naval base, and obviously the prison. So it kind of feels varied.
Yeah, there are lots of locations.
Yeah. For me, it is a more fulfilling story, definitely the Silurians. In fact, I didn't know until this that it's explicitly said that it's pretty much the same race, etc. I thought that had just come in later. It's dead explicit when you watch it, but that had gone over my head, or maybe I just paid any attention to it when I watched it more casually.
Also, when you went on to watch Warriors of the Deep, you didn't realise that they're both the same race.
No, well, I was only a kid when it came on, so I'd never seen this. I'd never seen either of them, and I just assumed it was a bit of a fan wank thing that they put the two baddies together. I hadn't realised that actually they were the same. I don't know, same species,
an underwater and above ground species.
And I thought they'd just done it, and then I was quite excited about it when I heard it.
It felt to me, I'm not sure when it was shown within the contents of the season of Jon Pertwee, but this felt like a really good opening story to hit a season. So I'm not really sure where it fell. I'm sorry, I didn't look.
It fell at the end. I think it fell at the end. I'll have a look.
Oh, did it? So it's like, well,
usually 6 parts is the last one.
Oh, right. Because it felt like this was like they had a fair bit of money on this.
No, this was the era where the Pertwee was doing loads of 6 parts.
Oh, was it? Okay, right.
Yeah. So it probably wasn't. I think it would have been a mid-season one.
A point to note is that was this 1972?
Yeah.
That's my birth year.
Oh.
So I got.
What? This was April, wasn't it? This was April. This was.
Oh,
broadcast, I
that's
think.
the month that I was born in.
So this would possibly been on while you were just being born. Oh,
Yeah.
And you chose it. There's obviously a psychic
If
connection.
I'd known it was there, I might have gone back in my mum's chuff. But I didn't. An all-time classic quote.
Okay.
Anything to get away from that music, was it?
Well,
John?
the thing that it was episode 4. It was when they were attacking, and their guns with their CD with a CD in it,
That
whatever it was,
The CD.
just like perpetual ringing noises, and it's mind-piercing noises that were.
Like a fax machine going.
I was
constantly.
starting to lose it. I was starting to lose it. It was like very difficult to watch. I had to turn it down, and then I had to have a break. But it just, I think and it didn't help with the incidental music, the synthesized, whatever it was, the Radiophonics Workshop were doing, but it would do beep beep beep. For something. It seemed like there was no fucking rhyme, no reason to it.
There isn't
written
that.
all
There
the
can't
way
be,
through my
surely.
notes. It was Malcolm Clark, the guy, but it just felt. I know they didn't have it back then, but it just felt someone on one of the cheapest Yamaha keyboards going with
And
their
there's
face. Like that.
Yeah.
And there's some really cheesy bits, isn't there? Like with the music, like when Joe gets into the doctor when he's in the prison, and she's miming to him, and they're doing the keyboard in sequence with it, and it's really awful. It's like, it's making me
Do
clean.
you think that was basically because they couldn't afford to have any music on it? So they just basically said, some guy just press.
What did the note say,
buttons.
Suki?
What on the music or?
Yeah, on the music.
No, I don't know what it says. It just says it's an experimental electronic score by Malcolm Clark.
Oh, it'd be one of those. What's that thing? That wave thing when they move it with the hand. It goes.
Oh yeah, it was definitely one of those things.
Yeah.
All sine waves and bloody. I was writing sounds like that on my Econ Electron back in the day. Just like basic 8-bit sounds. It's terrible.
But
only works if you're off your face.
There's a part of me though. I when I was doing my plus and minuses on this story, I put music on both sides. I mean, the music is just bonkers, but
It characterizes it, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's a part of it that that beach scene when the Sea Devils are running along, you've got the mines and things like that. And they're doing that scream that they do, and the music's going away. It just makes it like it characterizes it. It's different. It's unique. It stands out from the usual thing. So yeah, it's a definite minus, but it is also a plus for that way. It makes it distinctive.
This was the era of Dudley Simpson. Dudley Simpson was doing all the music before, most of the music beforehand, and then Malcolm Clark was part of the BBC Radiophonic Workshop. Right, this was his very first score. So he decided he's going to do something completely different. And he used, what did he use? He used an EMS Synthy 100 synthesizer. And that's so he just experimented on that. This is at the time it was.
Yeah.
And going back to where when this serial was broadcast, this is the middle serial of 5 in that 9th season.
Really? Because this felt like more of an impact. This felt like a big boom with the amount of production and the Royal Navy being involved. I think they say thank you to them, don't they? You got the castle. They got some great outdoor shots.
I do think that they were slightly hampered by having the Royal Navy there, so they felt they had to linger on stuff that was unnecessary.
Yeah.
For instance, when the Doctor and Joe were climbing on board the ship, and there's a tracking shot from another boat that's nearby that's bobbing up and fucking down and doesn't know where to point the camera. Stuff like that is like...
I quite love it when Joe's climbing
up. And it just went
up
on and on and on, like you're going to see... And she's climbing up. I don't know if I want to make the point. She's climbing up like she doesn't want you to see her ass.
Go on, I think you're going to say what I'm going to say. Go on.
That bit there is actually stuntman Stuart Fell.
It is a
up there in Joe Grant's
really?
It is, if you watch it, he's like shifting his hair, holding his weight. It's actually really hilarious to watch. It's episode 1, isn't it? When they're climbing up. Oh, it just makes me laugh every time. I mean, I think she must do some of them herself because obviously his ass is different and compared. Not that I freeze framed him, but he's definitely.
But it was like sideways walking up a ladder. That was like, come on.
How do they do that? They're not.
There's an interview. There's an interview on the disc, the DVD that when it was released. Katie Manning goes, he had a bigger wiggle than I did.
He
Right,
does.
it was the way he was going up them stairs.
And just the way he
That ladder.
shifts his wig around, and he's also a bit hyperactive, to be fair. It's almost like he's really excited about doing it. Oh, yeah, it is very funny. Watch it again, honestly.
I do find there was a bit very similar to what John brought up, but I think they overused a lot of stock footage. You can tell some bits were just constantly repeated. Here's an explosion. Oh, it's the same one again. Boom. Oh, it's the same one again. I know they can't do it for the production, but I think they could have just shown it once or twice. Don't need to keep doing it.
There's a sequence of the Sea Devils coming out of the sea, I think was used as dark. They just used the darken the lighting to make it look like night. And then it's exactly the same sequence, I think, later on in the episode, where they're coming out, but they've just kept the darkness off it. So they had a night and day shot on the same sequence.
The budgets are tiny, so we can forgive that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So.
But where that lone Sea Devil come out, I think it might be episode 3 or 4. Again, the beach scene with the mines, and when it comes out, I can't help but think it's swaggering like it's pissed. It really does kind of so when it's looking to the side.
Got a helmet full of water.
I have to say, the amount of peril we're expected to feel about the Sea Devils walking out of the water and all that.
Yeah.
And this is an invasion with 6 fucking Sea Devils.
There are always 6 of them.
Like, it doesn't feel like there's a peril there. It's implying that the peril's there, but not actually fucking showing it. So
no, because you don't really get to see how they're planning to really take over the world, do they? They're just going to attack a naval base. That is actually all they really do in this story.
I thought one of the best cliffhangers for most Doctor Who's was the one where they come down that cliff. You've got the master behind them. You've got the soldiers coming, and you've got a landmine thing in the middle of a flaming beach. And the Sea Devils.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? So they went into the mine.
The best thing with that is...
it was terrible.
I just love the fact Jon Pertwee took it so seriously, he decides to jump on the barbed wire.
No, but I thought that was mint. That was good.
That's really funny. He leaps onto it, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's being a gentleman. Go on, Joe.
But she walks round.
So the thing is, though, that it's good that the Doctor and Joe do give it their 100% because they're pros. But it's difficult watching that whilst trying to think, well, you're holding it up big style here.
Oh,
Tom.
yeah.
Well done, mate.
Well, there's also
This
seen
is
that
terrible.
what he does when the Sea Devil comes to scare the Sea Devil. He uses sonic screwdriver to set off the mines, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But then he walks around the mines. Why don't he just set them all off as long as he's not stood on one and save all the hassle? I never could get my head around that.
Because it takes a little bit more time and it wastes a little bit more time.
It expands the 25-minute episode.
But also, if he did set one off, he might accidentally set off another one.
Yeah.
No. So what's the point of?
Don't you know anything about mines at all, Craig?
Come on, man.
Come on.
I should have known.
Basic mines.
I'll go back to Princess Diana novel and stuff at the Landmine Trust.
I do like the stuff on board the submarine as well. In fact, there's a bunch of actors in this that are big actors in the
loads
future.
of actors.
Yeah.
Loads of actors in there.
Like who the captain of the submarine was, he turned out to be, and I can't remember any of the thing, but he's a well-known face.
Yes.
Yeah, Donald Sumter.
And his
Side part.
and his sidekick.
Yeah.
Heidi Eye.
Yeah.
I was trying to place him all the way through, but I didn't know
Yeah.
where from. Heidi High. Okay, right.
Heidi
The
Eye.
handsome fella from Heidi High.
He was indeed quite
Well,
handsome.
the second handsome fella after what's his name? Simon Cadell left.
Mm.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
so,
We're not talking about it's not
Yes,
a
and-
Heidi High podcast.
It ain't Heidi Eye. But Donald Sumter comes back as Rassilon, doesn't he, in the news?
Oh, right.
So he's in one of the Peter Capaldi stories.
I thought the cast were actually really good right through, pretty
All the way
much, to
through.
be honest. Yeah, I liked them all. I love the bureau. I mean, Jon Pertwee's story isn't complete unless it's got some kind of bumbling bureaucrat somewhere along the line.
Clive Morton, Trenchcard, he was excellent.
Oh,
Which one was that?
him.
Because there's 2 bumbling ones. One that was in league with the Master, and the other one that was just on.
The one that was in league with the master.
The Master,
Yeah, the prison officer that he is obviously mind controlled.
But both of them were really good. Both
Yeah,
of them,
they were.
Trenchard really worked well with the Master
Yeah.
as being his minion, basically.
Yeah.
He's been
Mm.
duped by him.
Yeah.
Right. And then you had Walker come in right? As
The
the
civil
government
servant who can come
servant.
in and start a war. That's not how
Yeah.
it works. But
No.
hey.
No, I know, and it's like,
and he
Hello,
wants to order a
breakfast.
nuclear.
I love
Yeah, I'll tell you what,
the
guys.
coast of England.
What the 70s really needs is a nuclear explosion on our own land by
Yeah.
us.
Yes, I just found that so hilarious.
Sorry, I was going to say there's a shot where it can only be out of the 70s, and it goes where you first get to see the naval commander's office, and the shot just pans out from the window, and he's stood there and he's dictating to his secretary, and there's a good 40% of the shot of her leg. Taking a little note, sorry. And I thought, wow.
Hey, without that secretary, nothing would have got fucking done.
Yes,
in this
she
show.
was very
That's
efficient.
right, John. That's right.
She was
She
totally
was
in charge.
absolutely brilliant.
She
was.
spotted that the doctor and Joe had gone missing. No one else actually gave a damn, but she was very concerned about it, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was always on top of it.
Yeah,
And she was like, well, why didn't they just come here? In those cars with no doors. What the fuck's all that about? They'll fall out.
Yeah.
Oh,
The cars with no fucking doors. What is that about?
Why is
No
what's
car,
more?
no boot, and they've got the roof.
What's
The little
worse?
Citroen.
What's worse? And I wonder why. They're all fucking Citroens. They're all bloody.
But don't you think the police
French
officers
cars,
look like
why-
a low as well? It's like I think they've got some kind of French vibe going on here.
I
Yeah.
don't know why they have
Capes
no
and the-
doors on them. That was just
I-
fucking nuts.
I think
It's
they
smart,
didn't have the doors on for a production point of view, so they can get the cameras in. But then they realised, it looks
Can't put 'em
slightly
back on.
futuristic. We'll just keep you like that. That's what I'm
That's what
thinking.
it was.
But it's
I
not
think it
set
was-
in the future, is it?
No.
set in a
No, it's
fucking
not,
nowhere.
but-
It's set on an island off the UK where it pisses it down most of the time.
the sea fort stuff was good as well. I thought.
Yeah.
I thought because it's like that was like you're hinting at like World War II
Yes.
stuff and all that sort of stuff about that fort. And the two guys in the fort were a bit weird.
But I love the camera angles on there as well because he'd be going down. I thought that was really cleverly done because that first episode, they really build up the tension of the Sea Devil coming into it, just hand shots and little shadows. But yeah, we are talking the first episode when he said that, and it's really dark and cramped and really kind of claustrophobic.
I like the one that's going slightly mad, not the one that got killed. Right, he was excellent. Or
You don't like the one
was
who got killed.
until he was injured. He was until he was injured, and then he just sort of moaned perpetually for like 25 minutes. It's like, son, shut up. At some point.
I liked him. I liked him.
Yeah, I like that. I thought they were, like I said, I thought they were really creative with the camera angles when they were running down corridors and things like that. I just thought it was made it different.
There's one massive, like, I don't know, what do you call it? Elephant in the room thing. What was the beginning bit all about of him going to see the master in this castle?
Because he was there 2 minutes and he kind of went all the way there on his boat. Said
He's
a few
gone,
words,
oh,
and came
right,
back.
just go. It's like it wasn't drawn there because of the boats being destroyed, because he gets told that on the way. It wasn't drawn there because the TARDIS wasn't there with him, was it?
Well,
he just goes to see the
Yeah,
master.
he's just gone to visit his friend, isn't he? Or
yeah, that's
his
what Joe
frenemy.
said.
Yeah,
Joe's like, you wanted to check he was okay, didn't you?
yeah.
Because the master's
Well,
like,
to
come
check
back
he
and
wasn't escaping is what he wanted.
exactly. Come back and have a chat. Well, have a chat while he's there because like he stayed for literally no more than about 2 minutes, which I found really quite funny. That it's like, no, you spent about, let's say, a good couple of hours.
They
getting
needed to
there.
bring the master back because he's brilliant in this. He does a really good job. He does a good job in it.
If this was made now, it would. I can imagine, kind of the latest stuff, the latest headline. It is a real epic, isn't it? With all the stuff that goes on in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you wanted to make it decent these days, it would cost millions and millions and millions to do that.
Well, water's really hard for them to film with, isn't it? They always say.
And kids in water.
And dogs. And pets.
You got a problem for filming kids over there.
I'm always getting told off.
But you're right about the production values on this. If they didn't have the help of the Navy, they wouldn't have the hovercrafts, the jet skis,
Story would have
all
been
the
different.
forts.
I think
the
the
ship,
writer
the
would have
diving
written it
bell.
differently.
Anything
He's obviously
with a
been
hovercraft.
told you've got this and
Yeah.
he's utilised it, which is really good.
I tried to put myself back into the mindset of being at that age in the 70s of Zero. But I imagine that was a little bit older watching that. And it was really fucking nice to see the ships, the technology, the hovercraft was amazing.
As a
Yeah, I
kid,
love
that would have
that.
just give me an orgasm.
In the
that.
70s,
Yeah.
being aware of like, because you've got to think about it, you're only about 30 years away from like the end of World War II. So it was very culturally relevant still. And seeing the British Navy and all that sort of stuff would have been ace back then, I reckon.
And the Navy must have loved doing it as well, because there's a couple of scenes like when they're coming out of the thing and they're all showing off how and Joe comes out at the end all really grand.
Oh,
I actually thought that was it was good PR for the Navy. It was kind of showing kids and you know, the wider TV audience what it was like. But the Navy must have given them a bit of good fun as well, actually.
The Navy definitely wanted to get involved with this production, because the way Barry Letts says on some of the making of, they wanted the diving bell for this production, but because the diving bell was on some manoeuvres up at the north of Scotland, they says you couldn't have it, right? So but he says we'd like to have it, and they sort of worked it out that they could decide to have the manoeuvres instead of up in the north of Scotland, wherever the filming was going to take place. That way, the BBC managed to get use of a free ship using this diving bell. So they wanted to get involved. They knew this was a good product. Most of all them extras that you see running around
for the Navy
behind some of the actors, they're all sailors. Yeah. They're all actual proper sailors.
Imagine what goes on that boat.
Oh God, too much seamen.
Oh, Craig.
Hello, sailor.
But it just goes to show the BBC at the time. Obviously, it's changed now. Like John said, there's so many loads of channels, isn't there? And it's obviously old boy tactics. Like, we're doing this production. Would you be involved? And we're not killing anyone at the moment. Let's get involved.
But that was the status of Doctor Who, wasn't it? It's like when Peter Davison had the Concorde on it as well. And so people wanted it was seen as high tech,
quite prestigious. This was it. You got to get 8 million views, so it might get some of those kids signing up.
I mean, the charm of it all is the fact that it's done on a shoestring budget as well.
Yeah,
which is once you've get past that idea, it's not a bad show at all.
No,
it's just, you know, in retrospect, it's been seeing it 50 years later.
Yeah. So, John, I'm going to come back to something you said earlier on then, because I think it was a bit controversial, really. You talked about the Sea Devils and their outfit, because I've always thought the Sea Devils were truly amazing and astounding. What was it you thought was?
Yeah, but you watched it as a kid. You didn't have a fucking clue what was going on. You admitted it yourself.
Yeah, I was only 1 year old then. But actually, until this second, I've never ever doubted the Sea Devil costume was brilliant, even when I was watching it this time.
I mean, again, the context for era and timing and budget. I grant, it was as good as they could possibly do. But it did look a bit stupid, and I think props for the master for speaking to the eyes and not to where the fella inside that throat.
Yes.
But it just felt, and I did like the fact that there were nets that they were wearing. It made it appropriate.
I love that.
It doesn't. It's not brilliant, but it's like you can understand why.
That was a last-minute addition to the costume, though, because you had the Silurians, and the Silurians were basically walking around naked in the earlier serial.
That's why you.
And
like
then when
it.
they come to this one, when they come
the
to
red
this
eye.
one, the Sea Devils were naked again, and they the director Michael Bryant, I think he just went, no, it does not look good. So the costume, don't panic, because this is all on location. Don't panic. She just got a net.
Oh, did they actually get real nets?
Yeah, just stuck it over the top and just cut her on, put a belt round them.
Did you get that from Infotext?
What's that?
Did you get that from Infotext?
No, I get that from the actual DVD on the making of.
All right.
I never actually watched the Infotext this time. I keep getting told off by people.
No, we love it, but it's just good fun to wind you up. But I think the net does really make it, actually. I think especially now, with all the environmental issues of what we dump in the sea. I think the fact that these sea creatures have turned it into an outfit, great. No, it is obviously beautifully manicured with a belt. It is quite clever. I quite liked that. I never realized it was meant to be that until probably a while ago now. You know, I dawned these things slowly on me. But yeah, no, I liked it.
I think you also got that massive thing of the 70s, which was stupidly popular, karate. Oh. Everyone's at it. Even Joe.
You're not. The master was doing it.
Yeah. Master did it as well.
Yeah. Everybody was kung fu fighting.
Well, then you have the whole.
That is
fucking so Craig. Funny. Dying of laughter over there.
Getting over coronavirus,
darling. The other one big action sequence I'd want to talk about is the fencing scene. You had these big, good 2, 3, 4 minutes of a fencing scene that they must have choreographed for ages, and they're having real going in, they're really hitting each other's back. So that ends that episode. And what happens the following week? They show the whole scene again. That's another 3 or 4 minutes.
Because it took so long to learn it.
Yeah, so they must have thought, we've got to get our money's worth out of this, and they've just banged it right at the beginning of the episode again.
I mean, they always start the next episode with like the last 5 minutes of the one before.
Yeah, it is actually only a 5-part story, this, because if you take out the introductions, it gets through probably around 25 minutes. Because it is true that they did fast forward, there was a lot. Oh, that was quite.
But that's fight sequence that they had between the pair of them. The Jon Pertwee was so cocky in that. He's there flipping, knocking the sword out of his hand and then handing it back. He's having a sandwich halfway through.
A lot of sandwiches.
There's a lot of sandwiches.
But why would you ask your main actor or any actor to deliver lines with a mouthful of a sandwich? Which I thought was really bad.
I noticed they cut the crust off them all.
Oh, did
yes, they did.
Does that make it easier?
BBC, though, isn't it?
BBC can see.
Yeah. Well, they won't have done. The secretary would have.
Yeah, the secretary would have done. Because when that the bureaucrat arrives, he's there ordering his breakfast, isn't he?
Yeah.
Toast and tea, and then he wants salmon. And
for a long time, I was wondering, like, right, he's eating, like, he's getting loads of stuff. He's always wanting more food. Is this because he's some creature that needs loads of fuel?
No, you're clearly overthinking.
His complexion was a bit weird, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
His complexion was a bit. Yeah.
Oh no, his complexion was made up. He had loads and loads of makeup on. You could tell. Just in a TV way, like they all do, to stop his skin shining.
But I like the way he was like really, really cocky about finishing off this war, doing all this, and then when he actually realizes they all get caught, he's like little scaredy cat. You know, you got what you doing? What you doing? Have you gonna? And then when the others escape, he stays in the room, doesn't he? He goes back and closes the door.
I mean, I can relate to him in that, to be honest. I think I'd be a coward in that situation.
They do also seem to accept these aliens in the Pertwee era very quickly. There's no shock or anything like even the Navy or whatever when the Sea Devils are rove out the sea.
Navy's the British were trained.
They'll fight the fear.
There's no existential threat. You know how like the idea of aliens at all should really send everybody loopy.
Absolutely, yeah.
And they literally get used to it straight away.
You got Joe. There's a bit. I think it's the part 3 where Joe's supposed to be going back on her own to send a message, and they say, "Right, stop her at the gate." Right. Yes. And you got those 2 guys. She cleverly bundles one over. He falls to the floor, and the other one's go get after her, and then she goes missing from all the Navy guys.
Yeah,
big white figure with an axe running in every bush,
running across the green landscape.
Yeah, and there's always the window that's nicely left slightly open, so she can crawl in.
I did like her sign language thing when she was trying to tell the doctor who was tied up when she was at the window doing her miming.
Is that miming?
Mimography.
I didn't see the scene with the rimming with the doctor.
No, there's no rimming involved. Jesus.
One of the things that Joe initially said to the doctor in the very first episode, I think it was in the very first, is that she was good at picking locks and stuff like that.
Yes.
But the first chance she gets in this episode, she couldn't do it. She just couldn't do it. In the end, they had to trip over the whatchamacallit to get out.
Don't you fucking criticize Joe's lockpicking skills? So you don't know how to lockpick.
She was nervous.
If I was trained, then I might be able to do a better job than she did.
Yeah, but she had the empowerment of all those guards running after. She had the worry if you're not thinking of her. Not in the character's mind.
There's also a continuity error there as well. After they've knocked that guard out and they've run through the door, she's left her bag behind. But then the rest of the serial, she's walking around with her bag.
You do also see a boom mic when the doctor is crawling across the sand.
You always see a boom mic in a Doctor Who. There's always one.
There's
always one coming in.
Like, move that boom, lads. All right. You're just going to ignore it.
See, I must say, and I know it's something we don't usually say very often on Around the Console, but I was quite enthralled by Joe's costume because I know it sounds a little bit like some would say on Protrude. She was in Navy bases. She was in Seafort. She was running around outside the woods, and her beautiful costume stayed immaculate for the entire. And it was white. I mean, if I wear white even for 10 minutes, I will get something on it. And she just
skid mark. Yeah.
Well, sometimes you need a good itch, and it's like, and sometimes it's that deep it comes through. And anyway, so it's
no!
Come on, Craig.
And the podcast.
You
can tell he's on his second vodka.
I am actually. Matt brought me one in. I thought I got away with that. I didn't know. Anywai, so yeah, I was a bit. I was desperate not to say it. It's like, no, we can't comment on that because I'll get ridiculed for the rest of my life. But I was. Yeah. It was a bit.
There was a lot of mustaches. I've written in the notes. A lot of mustaches. I don't know if it was
70s,
very popular
70s,
to all look
70s.
like Freddie Mercury. All of them. Mustache. But then again, I had a look at a picture of my dad at the same age.
Same. Yeah.
A clone.
A clone.
Yeah. I put in my notes here. Jon Pertwee has the skills as Bruce Lee on weed.
I thought Jon Pertwee was really on form. This was, to me, a classic Jon Pertwee episode. It had everything you would expect.
This was great for him. Really good. Annoying beeping noises, covered that. What else will I put? Cool hovercraft, love that. Oh, one massive thing. Does the master always carry with him a spare face?
It's very Silence of the Lambs. I wonder if that was where the idea of that scene of the Silence of the Lambs comes from, in the lift shaft.
That was,
It came straight to my mind, of course. There was no blood or anything on this. It was like, obviously, just a plastic mask of himself.
Okay, I've got my canon on this as well.
Oh, go on.
There we go.
There was 2 Navy people on that boat with the master. So he skins the first one, right? Takes his face off, puts it on, and just sort of molds it and slaps it onto this the chap.
It's a bit morbid for a fucking kids' TV show, isn't it?
Yeah, well, this is my head
What's
canon.
going through your head?
This is my head canon on there.
He molds a cut-off face to look like his own, like plasticine.
Slaps him. It might have been somebody else with a beard there.
So draw on the little
could you imagine?
In all that time.
He's an evil bugger, though, and he'll do that.
More evil thinking that.
Well, I'm looking at our 4 faces on the screen now, and I'm thinking, well, none of our faces would easily mold into the face of the master. I mean, he'd have to have a. For you, Suck, he'd need to get the beard off.
He just needs a quick glance for him to be able to get off the beach, though, doesn't he? That's what he needs. He doesn't need to be immaculate.
And it was so obviously wrinkled. I mean, how did anyone ever take that? Even the eyes were like cut out.
Are you guys criticising Doctor Who again?
No.
Lovingly taking the piss out of you.
Yeah. Why is this such a classic? Why is it that everyone is so excited about the Sea Devils coming?
Navies.
Is that what it is?
Ships, technology, stuff that they won't have ever seen in a Doctor Who show, apart from like a trike or something that they had previously.
Just looked like a massive more budget, loads of characters in it, the story.
Lots happening and lots of people,
happening. Yeah, lots of movement on the screen and not condensed into little corridors and stuff. Yeah. It's good. They even had lots of running in it, lots of fighting. What more isn't there?
Citrons with the doors taken off. Lots of perfect stuff.
Because there's been such a great response to the Sea Devils coming back that it shows how close this is to Doctor Who fans' heart, really, doesn't it? But it is just a typical Pertwee story. It has these same elements.
Certainly not as magical as I thought it would be, or as like, because I got the impression from other people that Sea Devils was a bit of a brilliant one, and I don't think it is, but I think it's a very good one. It does. It is
enjoyable.
Are we at the point then, boys, where we need our two word summaries? So, is there anything anyone else wants to say about this story?
No.
In that case, Suki, can we have your 2-word summary?
Come back to me because I haven't thought of any.
Well, that's not good enough. Well, you've had 4 bloody weeks to think of this. That's outrageous, Suki. I'll come back to you in a second.
Craig. Don't pick on me, please, darling. Please, leave me alone.
If you're in my classroom, you'd be in a lot of trouble. I'll send you out. Cliff.
Right, I'm not sure if this is 2 separate words because you always have to run it past John.
I'll let you know.
Seamen.
Say it again.
Seamen.
Oh, seamen. I love it.
It's
always.
It depends whether you're talking about jizz or not. If it's jizz, it's one word. If it's actual men at sea,
that didn't even come across my head.
Oh, dog! It didn't come my ass.
Oh my god, guys! Oh my god!
So, what are we allowed? Yeah, semen. I'm allowing us
Yeah,
2
yeah,
words.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
allowed semen. All right.
Yeah.
So, sorry, John, 2 words.
Beep, boop,
Oh,
Right, okay.
yeah.
Per boop.
Oh, hang on.
boop.
Oh,
Beep,
beep boop.
Beep, boop.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Come on
When
now.
those- are they
You've got
actually
2
words?
minutes to
Though?
think of-
Are they
yeah.
actually words?
Yeah,
Yes,
if you look
they
in the
are.
dictionary, they'll be there. Beep, boop.
I'm playing
I'm
Wordle at the moment. and
100%
sometimes I have
confident they are.
What the hell is Wordle? I keep seeing it on
Oh,
Facebook. It's
Wordle.
like-
It's a little classy little game. It's nice. I quite like it. I'll tell
2
you about it
words,
after
okay.
the pod.
2 words,
It's
okay.
Repetitive entertainment.
Oh, Jesus. This is proper down, are you? aren't
Oh, okay. I'm going to change the mood
It's still
completely.
entertaining. It's still entertaining. It's just repetitive.
Well, so's a wank. It's just up and down, but it's still good.
Yes.
Now that's an argument you cannot refute.
I'm
Suki.
not going to be able to argue with him at all.
Classic.
Well, I'm going to go with devilishly delightful
Nice.
because I really enjoy this story every time. I think it's just pure. In fact, there's some Jon Pertwees that are pretty crap, to be fair, but this is just classic Jon Pertwee and classic era as well, and I think it's really good.
I don't know if this is my first introduction to Joe. as a
You've had
companion.
Joe before, haven't you? You must
I
have
don't
done.
know. I might have done. It's not like I don't recognise her, but
We did Day of the Daleks.
Yeah.
did you? Yeah. Then,
Yeah.
yeah. It's my second.
She was in that.
She's not
my
sticking in
favourite
your mind,
companion.
is she? No, she's not sticking in your
No,
mind.
she's not one of my favourites.
Sarah Jane's one of my favourite. After
Sarah
the-
Jane is my favourite.
Yeah, Sarah Jane is purely beautiful. It was her birthday. Was it yesterday or today?
Yeah.
Elizabeth Sladen,
Yesterday.
obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so right, it's time to think about our next podcast and what we shall be reviewing. So, boys, okay, so as you know, lovely listeners, if you've been listening, what we do now is we're going to roll a dice. We've all got a story that we've chosen. Suki?
Before you continue, we're just gonna hear from Bob.
Oh, Bob's coming in at this point. Hello, gorgeous Bob. I'm kind of feeling him bonding with us as Suki's going to insert Bob.
Am I? Really? Me? Does he know?
Well, I left that to open to interpretation. I never said what or how was being inserted.
Reel it in, guys.
He just fell for it.
Cheers, Bob. Thank
Change
you
our
very
name
much for
to
that.
Around
Thank
the double
you.
entendres or whatever it is.
I'm not even going to comment on that, Sheps.
I tried.
Yeah.
Right, is Bob going in there then?
He's gone.
He's gone in. Right, okay, let's come back then. Right. So we're going to choose our story for next time.
Thanks, Bob, by the way. Thanks for
Thanks,
that, mate.
Bob.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bob.
As I suspected,
Who's Bob?
Don't know. Just this voice that appeared in the story.
Don't
for 5 minutes.
derail Craig. He will stop and think about that for 20 minutes and try
Oh,
to work it out.
Only,
Sorry.
only takes a slight diversion. Could you imagine how hard it was for me to take Jailable? Because if a kid asked me a random question, that was it. The entire lesson was gone. Anyway, so we are doing our next story. So we've each chosen one. I'm going to just let everyone know that Bob has chosen, he's chosen Shada, sorry. He's chosen Shada because he's in the middle of watching the latest Blu-ray box set, and I think he's timed that quite nicely. I must admit, I was quite tempted with something of a similar ilk. So Bob is choosing Shada. So Cliff, which story would you like to choose for next time?
Satan's Pit.
The Satan's Pit. Okay, so David Tennant. Let's go to Suki.
I've decided to do the 10th planet.
10th Planet. Okay, well, is that an animated one or is it?
I don't think so.
No, okay. And finally, John.
Terror of the Autumn.
Terror of the Autons. I'm going to go for a Peter Davison Snake Dance. So I have just here a little dice. I'm going to give it a quick roll. So they're all down here, and it is a 4, which is John and Terror of the Autons.
again.
John twice in a row. That's amazing.
And I'm picking classics, aren't I, guys?
You are,
Yeah,
it's Jon
good.
Pertwee again, isn't it? And it's Joe. It's Joe's first
Oh,
episode.
fuck, is it?
Joe's first story, and it's also the Roger
It's
Delgado's
also
first
Master's
story.
first
Yeah.
story.
Is it 4 episodes?
4
Yes.
episodes.
That's one of the reasons I picked it.
And it's the first time it appears in colour as well,
Oh,
Doctor
right,
Who.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No,
And also we
no.
didn't. Oh, is it not? Sorry, darling. Sorry,
Oh.
It
Gorusuki.
is.
I thought it was.
Yeah.
No,
it
it
is.
ain't.
When did it come in?
It came in the
Anyway.
second
Oh
season.
no, of
of
course,
Pertwee.
Spearhead from Space, of course, was in colour, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
Stupid me. Anyway, so
No, darling, not stupid.
just
Mistaken.
mistaken.
And
Of course.
also, we've got to remember that the Sea Devils I picked last week because the Sea Devils are going to be referenced in the new Doctor Who coming up at
Yes.
some point, whenever it is.
which is hopefully going to be springtime around Easter. It's kind of
Yeah,
suggested.
they said that.
Yeah. Oh, they confirmed that now. It's going to be over the Easter schedule.
Yeah, over Easter, and then the next one is it November? Something like that?
October.
October.
October 10th 100-year anniversary.
Yeah. So,
There's also a nasty rumor. I'm not sure if it's
Oh,
true. That
I know.
even though she's done her regeneration bit, they're not going to have her in to do the regeneration bit. On the crossover.
They don't usually anyway.
No,
They've
but
only,
yeah.
they only did it
might-
once, I think, with Tennant and Matt Smith. But the others, they were all sort of separate anyway.
Oh,
She'll have filmed the
just-
regeneration. They'll
Yeah.
just bring the next person in. They never meet, do they?
Oh yeah.
I think that's just the
wait,
kind of
just wait and see.
Wait and
that's
see.
it,
Wait
yeah.
and see. Wait and see. Sick and see.
that's the Jodie haters, isn't it? Spreading rumors and things like that. Kind of like, oh, it's been such a bad viewing because they're going to axe the regeneration. What, the one that's already filmed? Yeah. So anyway, with that, I think it may well be time to say goodbye and then hand over to Suki and his delightful children to read out some feedback for us.
Probably, maybe.
Okay.
If I can
Fantastic.
persuade them.
Oh, okay, right. I'm sure they can be persuaded, can't they? Why don't you entice them with an episode of Terror of the Autons?
Well, both of them suddenly got jobs, didn't they? All right, so
Oh.
it's a bit difficult trying to get them together in the same room.
You need to offer higher than minimum pay then.
Well,
I don't
yeah,
think I don't think they're working for Suki.
I meant in terms of
I
to
refuse
watch
to
it.
feed them.
I meant in comparison. Right, lovely people. Shall we say goodbye to our lovely listeners and
Yep.
and our YouTube? Our live, whatever it's called, watchers.
Flawless, flawless.
Isn't
indeed.
it?
Who's hosting
Why is it
next
called
time?
YouTube? Isn't it? It's YouTube. Okay,
Yeah.
people. Enjoy yourselves. Take care and tune in for Terror of the Autons. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.